Hello there. My name's Stacy. I'm very different from other people. The thing is, my parents are very irresponsible. They refused surgery for me, and now, at 19, I have no boyfriend or relationships. I have to go to different hospitals to remove my tail. Yes, my tail. Such a striking thing. My body's chip. Recently, I found out the tail's not such a rare anomaly, but it's usually cut off right after birth. But for some reason, it seemed cool to my parents to leave my tail with me. Like, I was born this way, so let it be. Trust me or not, but all my life, I thought it was okay to have a tail. Well, I happened to only undress in front of my doctor. Of course, she knew about my tail, so she wasn't freaked out. Of course, in our world of nudity, I saw other people's naked bodies, but they didn't have tails. I explained this to myself very simply. My parents also don't, though I didn't look closely. It means not everyone has a tail. Well, something like a bald spot or red hair. It doesn't scare anyone, right? But after all, not everyone has it. Even anatomy classes at school didn't convince me something was wrong with me. Of course, we talked about rudiments, including the tail, but I tell you, I thought it was okay. Well, not every second, but every third person has a tail for sure. Such a childish belief. The tail never really bothered me. Well, I had it, and it was okay. And I couldn't imagine my life without it. And it was small, such a little thing on the tailbone. Anyway, you couldn't notice it under a swimsuit unless I showed it. Then it grew a little, of course, but it was still hiding under my pants. And it didn't bother me, though it rubbed under my jeans with a bang. So I always wore skirts. But a history class really bothered me. We were just studying the Middle Ages, the witch hunt, and the bonfires of the Inquisition. And there, in a couple of lines, it was written a witch could also be found by a tail. A normal woman shouldn't have it. But here's the thing, who in our time believes in the Inquisition, which burned the most beautiful women? They also didn't like redheads, and if someone had a mole, they were thrown into a bonfire. Nobody saw me naked either. At most, in a swimsuit. I didn't have a chance to be fully naked, especially since I didn't have a boyfriend until I was 18. And we were in no hurry to move on to get naked. First, we needed to get to know each other better, but sooner or later, it took place. The disaster happened at Christmas. My parents went somewhere. My boyfriend decided to give us a mini vacation. We'd already been dating for half a year. And there was human nature coming, and an empty house, a holiday, and a great opportunity to get to know each other better. Well, we threw ourselves into each other's arms, almost just as my parents left. He reached into my underpants with his hand, and there I had my tail. And then I got something in my thoughts about being normal turned the wrong way, because instead of passion on his face, I saw horror. He turned me around, lowered my underpants on purpose, saw my tail, and cursed so loud that the glasses started shaking. And then, without even getting dressed, he rolled out of the house and ran somewhere, cursing. Then it dawned on me the tail wasn't okay. Not okay, because otherwise he wouldn't have become hysterical. Anyway, that was the end of my love story, though he came back later to take his things. I think he didn't bring a bunch of pitchfork-toting peasants with him, because in our time, they simply don't exist. He ran in, grabbed his things, and ran away. And I cried all through the holidays. Then, I went to the clinic to find out about my tail, and then they told me an entertaining story, that my parents voluntarily signed a waiver for the operation to remove the tail. They decided not to do it. Well, or they saved money, because this kind of thing isn't covered by insurance. Anyway, now I'm 18, and instead of enjoying my youth, I'm saving all the money I earn at my part-time job to correct my parents' mistake. The surgery's going to take place next spring, and by that time, I need to collect a large sum. And I'll also have to get ready to become a proud Scot for a while. For about 6 months after the surgery, I'll have to wear a skirt around my naked body, because underpants would interfere with the healing. And it's also impossible to sit for a while. I'm trying to understand my parents, but I can't. Why couldn't they just explain that only those whose parents earn a lot of money and can afford a cosmetic surgery could do that? Then I wouldn't have believed that everything was all right. Well, or I would have started saving sooner. And I surely wouldn't have let my boyfriend get into my panties, even though I'm already an adult. Of course, now I don't have any private life. I don't want to repeat the story. Yeah, and I don't have time for such things. I need to work and still have some time to study, not to be excluded from my college. I can't even dream about a simple vacation with my friends. Before the surgery, no plans. Well, this is what my new goal costs. Write in the comments if you think a tale's ugly or not. Also, write your stories about your rudiments, if you have them, or if you've come across them. And remember, you must love someone not for their looks or tales, but simply for what they're like, and that they exist, with all the pros and cons, and some other physiological traits.